Did you know?
Sachir Balaji was described as a prodigy, a software developer who learned the alphabet at 13 months old. He began computer programming at 11, graduated from Berkeley, and began working at OpenAI, making $350,000 a year gathering digital data for the artificial intelligence company. Sachir was his parents' only child, the Indian immigrant's pride and joy.
He's a hero because he stood for a cause and he wanted to show the ugly side. If he were alive, he would have shown more.
Sachir's mom, Purnima, is talking about the ugly side of AI. 4 years after working at OpenAI in San Francisco, Sachir grew concerned, leaving his prestigious job and becoming a whistleblower. He was interviewed by the New York Times in August. The article titled, "Former OpenAI Researcher Says the Company Broke Copyright Law." Sachir claimed OpenAI illegally used copyrighted articles to train its bots and brought society more harm than benefit.
The danger, I sensed the danger. Moment I saw that, I knew something was there, mother instinct.
So when you saw the New York Times article, you felt danger?
Yeah, I felt something there. I know something is going to happen. As a mother, I could sense it. But later it just vanished. I used to talk to Sachir each time he comes home, and every time he said, "No, don't worry, don't worry." But in his journal, he's written, "I'm a credible threat" because of New York Times.
What did he write?
Credible threat.
Credible threat.
Because of New York Times. Because of that interview.
It wasn't his only interview. Sachir was named as a key witness in a New York Times lawsuit against OpenAI.
He said he wanted to show the truth, and he knew it was risky. He writes in his journal that I need to stop this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. He had concerns about AGI, ASI, artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence. And then he writes like all of us are going to work in laundry or what? What are we going to do if all our jobs are taken? Right? If the intelligence is more than human intelligence, AGI or ASI, will it become God? He's asking. And he wrote out all these consequences of it in his journal.
Did you know that he was so concerned at the time?
No.
He kept it to himself.
He was like that from the beginning. Very secretive.
1 month after the New York Times article came out, Sachir, the child prodigy, computer genius turned whistleblower, was dead. News Nation obtaining these photos from inside his apartment. A gruesome scene with blood puddles near the bathroom. Suicide is the official cause of death. Sachir found dead right as he was supposed to do another interview. Do you believe it was a suicide based on what you've seen?
I don't. I don't believe it was a suicide based on what I've seen.
Attorney Kevin Rooney is representing Sachir's family, who is now suing the city of San Francisco. They've hired private experts and are making the case why the city's suicide ruling is wrong. Blood spatter, toxicology, and the fact Sachir was shot in the forehead, the bullet missing his brain, all point to murder, they say.
You think about, shooting at the side of the head, straight through the brain or through the mouth, or even underneath the chin. It's an odd angle. It's not impossible to do, but it's an odd angle to shoot oneself that way, not just in the forehead, but also at a downward angle.
News Nation obtaining the surveillance video of Sachir before the shooting. You see him leave his apartment building and return with a food delivery. His parents say he looks totally normal. They believe he had a gun for protection, buying it around the time he stopped working for OpenAI.
He bought a gun 1 year before. That shows there is some threat he's perceiving, and he wants to protect himself.
Sachir's parents are still renting his apartment here in San Francisco. They're hoping that if they keep it totally secure, at some point, police will want to go back inside to investigate. But so far, police are sticking with their suicide ruling. In a letter to the family, the police chief says there were no signs of forced entry to the single door leading into the residence, and the door was found with the deadbolt engaged. And the facts support that Mr. Balaji was alone at the time of the incident. But Sachir's parents believe he was murdered because he knew too much and are hoping federal law enforcement will get involved. Do you want the feds to get involved at this point? And what would you say to the new Attorney General, the new FBI director?
We would tell him there is a bigger conspiracy behind this death, and it would be a threat to entire AI industry of $10 billion or $100 billion. So there is something regarding the AI safety or something illegal happening there, and that's the reason my son wanted to speak up and he was silenced. What was he killed for, right? Obviously he knew something. What is that? And we don't want that to be suppressed.